Yes, folks, it's me. It's the odd one, DJ Odyssey, and here we are with another episode of Let's Talk. No Sonic Booms. What are we going to talk about tonight? A little Battlestar Galactica, but with a twist because, everybody's talking about the newer series. Well, no, we're going old school, folks. We're going to the original 1978 Battlestar Galactica. I thought there'd be more fans of Battlestar Galactica here, but I suppose not. Shame, shame, shame. Here, I thought they would jump up here to want to talk about it, but I guess it's only me. I'm such a failure. Life. Don't talk to me about life. No, wait a minute. Wrong franchise. Anyway, we've got that ragtag fleet. That ragtag fleet from the colonies trying to escape Cylon tyranny. Yep, except in the original, Cylons were not made by humans. No. The Cylons were reptilian. Those were the original creators. But yeah, let's go through the chat and see who to say hello to. Thomas Potts in first, Epic Beard second, LDG Pixels. We've got let's see. We've got Live at the Love Shack, we got Sci-Fi Nation, we've got Mountains of Elysium, and Boxy was right up there on the corner before it all started. Mountains. Louise Sparrow is here. Hello, Louise. We've got Live at the Love Shack. I think I mentioned that. We've even got Piano Dean. Piano Dean just started rewatching Battlestar Galactica. Yep. And then we get down to Yosef that's about ready to go to sleep, so he wants me to put him to sleep. I'm sure that will be arranged. I'll put you right to sleep. Uncle Remus loves the original Battlestar Galactica. Cinnabon is in the house. Sir Spade Sam is here. Yep. Yeah. So, like I said, I threw the link into the chat, folks. If you want to come up and talk about your favorite part of the series, or whichever you want, that's fine. Jump on up here. If not, this could end up a short night. Because this is usually a Let's Talk for everybody to discuss what they liked about the show, and well, then we have just me. And we know how I can really carry a conversation because I'm not anti-trekker. I'm not Bird. I'm not eloquent with words. But it's okay. We can start off by going through some of the great cast of the original Battlestar with Commander Adama, Lauren Green. You know, when I sit there and think of Adama, it should only be Lauren Green. But it's okay. Sci-Fi Nation's yelling out Cassiopeia. Yeah, Cassiopeia was a cute woman, Laurette Spring. But, there was others in the show. You had Captain Apollo, Richard Hatch, and you had Lieutenant Starbuck, Dirk Benedict, even Lieutenant Boomer. Boomer. Yeah, Boomer. Come on, Boomers. Holler out the Boomers, folks. Little Herbert Jefferson Jr. And of course, it's been mentioned in the chat, one of the best on there, Count Baltar, John Kolokos, which also made a great Klingon. But then he also had a Lieutenant Athena, Maren Jensen. This cast was filled with great people like Colonel Ty, Terry Carter. You had uh, Anne Larkhart, Lieutenant Sheba, who showed up later in the show. Uh-huh. And of course, what the remake did not capitalize on, because they only showed him once at the beginning. Boxy. Yes, we had a Boxy in here running around with a robot Daggett Muppet. Yes, we had that even. But you keep going. You had Lucifer. Now, some people might not remember, but Lucifer was voiced by Jonathan Harris, otherwise known as Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. Yep. What else did we have? Ed Begley Jr. was in there. Flight Sergeant Greenbean. Patrick McNee as the Imperious leader. And the cast goes on and on and on and on. You had Commander Kane, Lloyd Bridges. That's right. Commander Kane, one of the best two-parters of the entire series, with the Pegasus shows up. But enough of the cast, unless we need to mention somebody else at some point. We everybody's talking about how the remake Battlestar was so great and everything else, but as an older gentleman, I really loved the classic better because it actually gave you the lasers. It gave you the best Cylons ever, with that glowing eye going back and forth, back and forth. And I just love this Battlestar Galactica. This is my Battlestar Galactica. But I'm just rambling here because you can't really say too much. Yes, you had Fred Astaire.
I heard you were talking about Battlestar Galactica, so I thought I would stop by.
Well, of course I am. The epic. So,
And you were talking about like lizard people, and like that's my subject.
Yeah, lizard people. Well, not people per se, but they were lizards. I think you're scaring LTG.
Do go on, because I was enjoying your intro to the Battlestar Galactica.
Aha. Well, the Cylon race was reptilian lizards.
Like politicians.
Alrighty then. Live at the Love Shack. We're not talking about V either. The original Cylons race were reptilian lizards. Now, mountains, I got to disagree. We're going to get to that part here in a while, but I thought Return of Starbuck was one of the better episodes from the 80s series. Because a lot of that was crap. Uncle Remus brings up, where were the four-armed aliens from the original pilot? What the hell were they? Well, they didn't really go too far into the depths of things with that. It's not like they could.
I think they showed up on Buck Rogers later or something.
Well, I'm sure they did because a lot of the stuff from Galactica kind of just got revamped a little bit for Buck Rogers. But
when are we going to talk about Dirk Benedict, Mr. Faceman from 18?
We can talk about Dirk anytime because, he is
Starbucks.
I'm sorry. He is Starbucks, folks, and I'm sorry, but if you guys want to sit there and say that the one was so great in the reboot, no. Dirk Benedict was.
She was okay, but she was not Starbuck.
But it's like you go from the first episode, you got Saga of the Star World, where all the colonies are destroyed by the sneak attack. And it wasn't an inside job infiltrating, it was just a full-on attack by the Cylons.
Evil toasters.
With massive fleets. Didn't sneak through and shut everything down and just plow in. Hello, Captain Trek.
We do get to say frack in here a lot, right, for this episode?
Well, yeah, they do talk frack in the original series because they are the ones that created it. So you can say frack as much as you want.
Frack and toasters.
That's right, frack and toasters. But it's, I don't know, just, you're talking 1978 and you look at the graphics and the graphics, the special effects and everything else they had for back then. It was damn good for a TV series. Though that was its downfall too, because it was too expensive. Even though it was a top-rated show. It was just too damn expensive to keep going.
I didn't get onto Battlestar till like the early 80s when I was like older. Because when it came out, it was only 3, so I didn't get it then. And so when I only found out there was like 2 seasons, it's like, no, I love the show.
That's right. Uncle Remus brings up the models are much better than CGI much of the time. I love the model of the Galactica. CGI, sure, but when you're filming a model like this, the Galactica, this is what it should be.
Yep, I agree. It's a beautiful ship.
I didn't like that remake because it just, I don't know, too much hull plating and everything else all over it.
I think in general the model ships, how they used to do film and TV, just looked better than the CGI.
And being that it was such an advanced race of humans, I liked the idea better that they had the laser cannons instead of just bullets shooting out. It's like, how much are you going to fit for bullets inside of a little Viper or a Cylon Raider before you instantly got to turn around to go back and reload?
Right. If you like hold down the trigger very long and you're empty, like, so what do you do then?
Yeah, you got to turn around and go back. Fight's over with. But at least with the Vipers in 78, you had the power plants that were just creating the laser blasts that would go out.
You do speak the truth. And those Vipers were awesome. I love them.
Yes, they were, because I even actually have one right here. I have my very own Viper.
I know you did. That's why I wanted to see it again.
We'll turn the camera on. Now, this is a beautiful fighter, folks. Yeah. and it's all around concept and design. Makes it look like, sure, you could take it down on a planet real easy and fly it. You know, wait a minute. That is a hell of a beautiful ship.
I like that it even is kind of like dusty looking on
Oh
the
yeah,
paint, so it looks real. I like that because they
made
never
it
look
look like
pristine.
it's yeah. They made it look old, worn, used,
That's nice.
just like it actually's been stuck on the Galactica, and there's no replacements for them, so they have to run it as used as they are. Even the other sides.
I think that was part of the appeal because you saw a little bit of realism on ships, how they would age and ruffle them. That was one of the lures of that show. They had to make do with what they had.
And they had to scrounge for as many parts as they could, no matter where they went.
And then everyone copied that idea, Voyager.
Well, Voyager, I wouldn't say they copied everything because that ship never really looked like it was old and worn. No live. I don't have a Battlestar yet. But you start off in the first, even with the first episode when the Cylons are attacking, and you got Rick Springfield in it as Apollo's brother. Of course, he gets wiped out.
I forgot about that.
Cylons got him. His Viper was damaged, and he couldn't outrun him. Yeah, I just recently had been rewatching some of these, and it was like little things like that pop into the head that I remember.
I don't think I've seen the original since, I think I watched it again in the 90s. It's been a while.
That's one of my nice points. I sit there and have it on a hard drive so I can load it up anytime I want and watch it. I even have the 80. Galactica 80.
Well, there's 2 episodes in that year.
Louise wants to rewatch it now. Mountain says Vipers are his favorite sci-fi fighter. Star Fury from B5.
You know, Battlestar Galactica crossed over into our real world on the 18 when we saw Cylons.
Yep, you had Old Face walking through Universal Studios, or was it a costume party? It was either one where he ran into the Cylons.
And he was
pointed
like,
at him.
"Do I know you guys from somewhere?"
Yep, that was funny.
That's when you know that show creators have a sense of humor, and that's awesome.
You know, Prime Video charges way too much to try to rewatch these classic episodes. Hello, B-Star. It's just they charge $1.99 per episode. Yeah, it's
wow,
great
that's
show.
a lot per. You would think you'd have like unlimited, once you buy it, it's yours kind of thing.
Well, you'd think that, but geez, look at the price you're racking up on 21 episodes, and they're going to charge you $2 per episode. You
Yeah,
go out
that's
and find.
you could probably buy it for that.
Well, you could
Less
probably
than
buy
that.
it for probably for half that price. You, you could go out and buy the whole series. But
I should do that. I should buy Battlestar.
well, I'm gonna say you have to buy Galactica 80 just to go with it. It has to go with it, even though it was horrible. You got to have it all together.
I can use it as a coffee coaster. That'll work.
Well, Uncle Remus says you should get the widescreen remastered episodes. They look awesome. I was even unaware that they had them out yet.
Yeah, if they don't look stretched, it would be all right.
People are telling me I got things. It's not all set up, folks. Don't holler about the stream elements. Things all busted. It's not working right. Sigh. Yeah, it's StreamYards. StreamYards. I don't know. There's just so much in this series that could offer you hope and enjoyment, and it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of the stuff they're putting out nowadays.
Well, the story is compelling because there's so much they can do with the story that they never got a chance to do, even with the reboot.
Yeah, because the original, you also had this space race that showed up and meddled every once in a while. And you knew when they showed up because their uniforms went from brown to white. Like when they sent Starbuck had to go down, or no, Apollo had to go down to the planet to try to stop them from destroying themselves in a nuclear war. The experiment in Terra.
Yep, I remember that vaguely. Again, it's been a while.
And he was down there and he was supposed to be masquerading as this astronaut that they'd lost during this war. And the Galactica gets there just at the last second to be able to destroy all the nukes that are flying through the air. But then they found out that it wasn't really Earth. It was just a planet named Terra.
Yep, I was hoping it was Earth too, and it's like, oh, it wasn't. Dang it.
Hello, Pixels.
Yeah, every episode you're rooting for them to actually get some kind of clue or a crumb that they were getting close to Earth, but it never happened.
Well, it happened once. The very last episode. You got that the hand of the god, where they're sitting up there, and Starbuck and the Apollo have been revamping the long-range radio receiver on the dome on top of the Galactica. And they'd been sitting up there trying to listen to pick up some sort of a signal, and never did. They finally decided to leave it, but they left it on. And the next thing you know, here's a video from Apollo moon mission landing on the moon.
Oh, right. I forgot that totally. Wow. I need to watch the show again. Forgot everything.
I don't know if it's Pickles or not. We may have to remove him if he's. It is Pickles.
Hello.
Okay. See, finally.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to follow up on Galactica here, and I've never watched it. I've heard about it, but never watched it. And now there's different Battlestar Galactica. Okay, I get that, but the 78 to 79 series.
Yep.
Okay, so it says, I mean, it looks real. I don't know how to put it. It looks like Star Wars, but it doesn't.
Well,
It looks interesting.
The textures are Star Wars like.
The textures are Star Wars like.
I mean, as far as the ships are concerned, let me clarify. Like the acting, definitely not Star Wars. Just the ship feeling, how they do their ships. I'm reading here. It says after the destruction of 12 colonies, the last major star carrier, which is the Galactica, leads a makeshift fugitive fleet in a desperate search for the legendary planet Earth.
Yep.
That's basically it. Like this is like Voyager, but Star Wars.
Way better than
Kinda
Voyager.
ish. I'm trying to use funny examples, not
But yeah,
derogatory.
it's searching for home.
That's what I know. Yeah. Number one thing, search for home. Voyager pops in my head.
It's been a
These
long
cool
road.
kind of ship graphics. Star Wars.
Well, they're searching for a new home, the Lost Tribe.
Oh, a new home.
It's the Lost Colony called Earth.
Ah. Oh, that's why they call it legendary. Okay.
Yep, because it'd been lost over time. They had no idea where it was, and they had no idea if it even existed anymore. But since the 12 colonies got wiped out, they had to go somewhere.
All right. So the original Earth is what by now? Gone?
No,
No
the
one knows.
original
At
Earth
the beginning?
is there. They do find it by Galactica 80, but it's not what they expect.
Oh, so they don't even find Earth until like the next reboot or next series?
Well, there was the next series after that they had to tone down how much money they could spend and everything else, and that's why they just renamed it Galactica 80. And it basically all takes place on Earth. And you have very few characters left from the original series left.
Interesting.
The problem
Kind of
is,
Last Starfight-ish too. Sorry, go ahead.
but the problem is when they finally find Earth, it's not technically advanced like they thought it would be. Hail, Pfluger. As a matter of fact, when they find Earth, the reason why it's called Galactica 80, besides the year that it was made, that's the time frame exactly how they find Earth, 1980.
Oh, wow.
So it's far from even able to help fight the Cylons.
Gotcha. And then that's so where did it
Then
leave
the-
off on there?
The show goes off the rails.
Yeah, the show
80.
basically goes off the rails there.
What about the Xylons? What's this? Is that like the Borg?
Cylons.
CP? Yeah, got it. Cylons. What are they?
Cylons are basically robotic that are after them to kill them all, but the Cylons were originally a reptilian race that wanted to wipe out all humans.
They look like kind of like Cybermenish, RoboCop Cybermenish.
Yeah, had a
Cool.
single glowing eye in the middle that went back and forth just like kids.
Knight
like.
Rider. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say Knight Rider-ish. Okay, I'm seeing.
Well-
I'm looking that up.
Well, see, that's
Ne-
where it's the same guy that did all these series: Battlestar Galactica, Galactica 80, Knight Rider, Buck Rogers. Glenn Larson
And there
was
was-
in charge of that, so he just
There's a whole
took
race
stuff.
of this.
Yes.
Oh wow, cool.
Kind of like self-replicating robots, if you will. They build themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're so they're guaranteed robots. Okay, there's no.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Not no exosuit or something.
No, they're robot, but they did have.
They
one
started off reptilian.
That was the original
The original.
creators
Yes.
of the Cylons were reptilians.
Oh.
We never did find out if there was any reptilians still alive or not because the series didn't go past that first season of Galactica. All we ever knew was the creations of this reptilian species called Cylon.
Gotcha.
Had sent
Kind of
all
like that
these-
one episode in Star Trek. Got it. Yeah. They kill their creators. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's cool. I dig that.
That's where it kind of went off the rails when they did the reboot in the 2000s, because they made the Cylons human creations instead of another alien race.
They freaking retcon that.
Oh yeah, they changed lots of things in the
Yeah.
reboot.
Oh yeah, they found a lot.
Swear to God. How come if we can only change our? Sorry, never mind. Wrong show. Sorry. Whoops. Awesome. Well, I'm definitely thinking of I'm definitely putting it on my watch list.
It should be.
Where is it on?
Uncle Remus says the Cylons are the aliens in V.
Right. Is it on Hulu or?
I know it's on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
Well, that's the newer one. I don't know where the hell. I think the older ones are still on streaming on Sci-Fi. I think.
Sci-Fi? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, don't call that sci-fi. It's a sci-fi. And
Yeah,
please
sci-fi.
Yes.
make them
Sci-fi.
pay for that. Please make them pay for that. Sci-fi. Exactly. All right. I'll check out Sci-fi.
Siffy, whatever you want to call it, but it's
Well, you can watch.
crappy.
The only the only thing.
MB.com has it too.
It's called I Didn't Watch That channel after they got rid of Dark Matter.
Oh God! Don't get. Come on. You keep reminding me about that. I miss Dark Matter. I miss it so much. I miss that. That was a great show, and the writer had 5 seasons all mapped out and everything. Okay, I'm sorry. I digress.
Uncle Remus says it's also on MeTV.
Oh yeah. All right. Cool. Let's check it out.
So I would imagine if it's on MeTV, it's probably part of the Sci-Fi Saturday Nights.
I'll check it out. Like I said, I just finished Orville binge watching. That took about a week. Don't know how long this will take me.
You only have 21 episodes of the original series. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And then there's less than that for the 80s series.
And that's it. It's just that in the 80s series.
Yep. That's all the original.
Which one was the? Because I was gonna watch it when I saw. I'm guessing it's 80s series. The actor from Quantum Leap.
No.
Al, or whatever. Al was it?
No, that's the reboot.
Yep.
That's
that's something different.
That's in the 2000s. That's the reboot series.
Yeah, that's the reboot series.
Okay, so there's more. So 80 is like still old Doctor.
1980s is the direct sequel to Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. So if we're talking Doctor Who, those two are like old Who, and then the other one's reboots like new Who.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's
And how many
shows after that? There's even shows after that.
What?
It's more reboots off of Battlestar Galactica, the new one.
Yeah.
off the
Reboots
bat?
off the bat.
Yeah, they had Caprica, and there was some.
Oh, I heard of Caprica. That was Battlestar related?
Yeah, that's Battlestar related to, because that takes place before the big war and everything else on one of the planets, Caprica.
Ah. I was going to say like Sarah Jane spinoff or like Torchwood spinoff. More like prequel
more
spinoff,
like
it sounds like.
More like Class.
Class? No, don't say Class. Don't say Class. Please don't say Class. I've gotten that out of my head.
I didn't like Caprica, and that's why I'll put it in the Class.
Oh, it's one of those. Okay. Really? That bad?
It's just
I mean,
boring as hell.
Class was pretty damn bad. I mean, I thought the Adventures of Hercules was more entertaining. Matter of fact, you can put what's her name in front of that too. The other one, Xena. I'd watch Xena before I watch that shit again.
And now, see, she pops up in the newer one too.
Crazy.
But the old one, you had like Lauren Green, you had Lloyd Bridges, that was Commander Kane, that showed up with the Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
And you never did know if the Pegasus was actually destroyed or it escaped again. The last you saw of the Pegasus is it was charging 3 Cylon base stars.
Those base stars are really awesome looking, by the way.
Way much better than the new ones too. I didn't like the Cylon base star.
You know, the new ones were like weird looking, but the old ones, I like them.
Yep, looked like giant flying saucer cities. You could actually believe that it housed tons of ships.
Right, it looked the part.
So how's things going with you, Captain Trek?
Not too bad. Just trying to find. I was trying to find a place to watch online, and it shows it on NBC, but then it won't play.
That figures.
Yeah. No, I thought, well, since we're talking about it, might as well have a link to throw out.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's hard to find some of these older good series.
Yeah.
That's why I'm lucky I have it all on my own. But yeah, there was a comment earlier about a good 2-part episode in the series 2, which was Gun on Ice Planet Zero.
Yeah.
Where they have to sneak down to a Cylon planet and destroy a pulsar cannon before it can take out the fleet trying to get through. Kind of like a Hoth planet. So there you go. You got your reference to Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Just think Planet Hoth in reverse. The Cylons have control of it. And of course, you have to put up with in that episode, you got the stowaways of Boxy and Muffet. A little kid and a robot dog trying to infiltrate and sneak around. Yeah.
I like Muffet.
That was some good TV.
It was. I think the best of the whole was The Living Legend Part 1 and 2 when Kane shows up. Because it was the best classic part when the Cylons are all going after the Galactica and they're fighting. You got Baltar and one of the Cylon Raiders sitting there with the 2 Centurions. And then one Centurion looks over, sees the Pegasus showing up, and says, "What should we do about the other Battlestar?" And Baltar's like, "What other Battlestar?" And then they look over and he gets that shocked look on his face because here comes the second one.
Run.
Yep, because
Yeah, one Battlestar is one thing, but 2 of them, wow.
yep, especially when you have to pull back half your fighters and you're outnumbered, then you're just not going to do it. But it was fun after that because then you had the Pegasus disappeared again, but you had all the Viper squads from the Pegasus had to merge up with the Galactica
Yeah.
and trying to integrate these crews. It just got a little hairy there at first. And then you had other people that showed up. Does anybody remember old Squad 51 Emergency?
Oh, yeah.
No, sir.
Really? Oh, my.
Well, that's another show before his time.
Okay.
80.
Another
Born in
show
80.
before his time because, that was
Explains why.
70s show.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's why I never heard of Galactica until crap. 90, late 96, 7. I think. Whenever Caprico is out. When did that come out? That's Sifi.
Oh yeah.
2000s.
Okay, that
Right.
was like around 2000 then.
Because
Yeah, around the day of Sifi.
you had an actor from that TV series, which was started in '72, called Emergency. And it was basically firefighters, paramedic type deals that would go out every week to something that was going on, save lives. Actor name Randolph Monteith. He showed up in that too. I don't know. A lot of these names I throw out there, you'd have no idea who they were.
No.
Of course, you had Jane Seymour, though. Jane Seymour was there at the beginning too. Lance Legault. Lance Legault played a lot of good bad characters over the years. A lot of good ones. I don't know. But the Galactica gets to the point. The show ends and they pick up with Galactica 80. Now, of course, by this time, and there's only 10 episodes of this show. That's kind of how bad it was. Only lasted 10. You had Captain Troy and Lieutenant Dylan. What you find out, though, is Captain Troy is actually a grown-up Boxy.
Wow. I'd forgotten that.
Boxy's all grown up now, and he's his own Viper pilot, and he's going by his real name of Troy. And the only ones you really had left from the original series was Commander Adama and Boomer at this time, who's a colonel.
Yep.
Pretty much everybody else is gone. They've been killed off or disappeared. They find Earth. But unfortunately, it's
Off the rails they go.
It's just they can't do anything with it. So, what does the show do? I'm trying to remember the guy's name right off the bat. I'm looking up real quick because they had. What the hell is his name? He was another Viper pilot that decided to take upon himself to time travel with his Viper. Yeah, yes, we got time travel.
Here we go off the rails.
This is where it goes completely off the rails from the get-go.
Oh my God.
Because he decides he's going to go back into Earth's past, pick out the best that he could figure out which country would be best to try to advance Earth long enough so then when they did find it where they were supposed to, that it would be progressed enough. And guess who they choose? Guess who he chooses?
That
Favorite little ones from the 1940s, Germany.
Yep. True story.
Yep.
He himself takes it on to think Germany would be the best choice to move the Earth along,
what?
to prepare for a Cylon invasion.
We said it went off the rails. It goes off the rails.
What? Whoa. Is this he was Hitler and he failed or changed?
No. He went back to try to guide those certain Germans
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
with technology and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Troy and Dylan had to also go back in time to stop him, to stop helping that build the rockets and things like that in the 40s.
Yeah, so all the alien conspiracies from Germany They hit all that right there.
Yep. They hit all that.
Why? How stupid was he? Did he not know?
Not really.
How would he
country
know?
not to pick?
How would he
No,
know?
I've
How
never
would he
watched.
know?
Does this guy not? Does he not know? They not know English pass?
No,
How would they
because
know Earth history?
they just had arrived to Earth and seen that they're not advanced. They have no idea about Earth culture. They have no
Okay, wait a
idea
second.
about Earth history.
Okay, this is
none of
what's
that.
confusing the hell out of me. How do they're not from Earth?
No.
No.
Ah.
They finally
Why
They
would they be
finally-
searching for Earth if they were from Earth?
Okay, I thought it was
They-
another planet like Earth 2. That's why I asked, is there still around? It made it sound like Earth is gone and there was another colony called Earth, and they called it Earth.
Nope. They find us. They find this Earth.
So we're not even the people on the. There's some. What's their race called?
Well, they're humans too. But this was another thing that never got explained. Somehow, this Earth was one of the 13th colony, but something eventually happened when they arrived here that set them way back.
It was almost as if though
So you're saying Earth is actually a colony? Like we're
right,
not
really old.
humans came from somewhere else. Ah, that's cool. I like that.
But something happened
Okay.
that set this planet way back and had to restart all over from the get-go.
Let me guess. It was all the BS from the reboot going back in time or whatever.
Yep.
That would.
Oh,
Really?
no.
They never explained it really.
They never
All right,
explained it.
No.
All right, Battlestar Galactica, there was another planet, and they had set out
Interesting.
for the 13 tribes. 13 tribes went out to make their own planets. All right. The 13th tribe became lost to them. Never knew what happened to them. That's when, after the Cylons attacked, they decided to go find the 13th tribe. Well, in Galactica 80, they do find the 13th tribe, but it's way behind in technology, nowhere near what they should have been. So this is what they never explained in the series, because it got lumped off after 10 episodes, is why Earth was so far behind in technology.
Gotcha.
Like they could have landed here, had a plague or something that wiped most of them out. Nobody knew how to fix anything, and they had to start over at the Stone Age and progress from there. That's the best guess that we can.
That could suggest that there's technology on Earth, like the original ship and stuff.
And yes, Louise points out Cobalt was the original planet where all the humans originated from.
I wonder if that was Atlantis. That's cool.
But this is where everything goes off the rails, because they discover Earth, and there's nothing they can do about it. So they have to try to contact somebody on Earth and figure out somebody that might help them to integrate Earth's technology forward, while you also have this other Viper pilot decides that he wants to go back and time travel and everything else and screw things up. This is where they get to Earth and they meet a scientist played by, well, he's basically Mr. Brady.
Mr. Brady.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So then they go and they have to, during this first three-part, because it's a three-parter that starts out this show, they have to go after Xavier, who went back to 1944 to stop him from helping the Germans develop the V2 rockets and then get back. In the meantime, we also find out that the Vipers can now turn invisible. They have
Question. Did Mr. Smart Pants over there didn't know anything about English history? Even though they didn't do a quick stop to the library before they went back in the past, did he ever end up realizing he picked the wrong side? Like, holy crap, these guys are a bunch of racists.
Well, no, because he kind of disappeared and was never seen from again for. Yeah. He was lost.
Lost because of production, or lost like something mysterious, or
Something
oh my God.
mysterious. Something mysterious. He disappeared in time, never seen from again. And of course, since the show only lasted 10 episodes, none of that was played out either.
Yeah.
But up to this point, we've been introduced to the Vipers can turn invisible now. And they have flying motorcycles.
Flying motorcycles.
Yep.
Keeps getting better and better.
Off the rails it goes.
They have these motorcycles
it
that
keeps
basically
getting better and better.
Yeah, they look like crotch rockets, except they can hit a button. And these little wings will fold out from the sides, and then they hit the little turbo boost, and up they go into the air. And they can also go invisible when they're parked. So yes.
I like that reference, like chips in space.
Yeah, chips in space. We're getting the Wolfman Jack, Uncle Remus. Don't worry. We're getting the Wolfman Jack. But by the fourth episode, we're introduced to Super Scouts. Now they're taking field trips with little kids down to Earth to show them around, and then they end up having to stay on Earth. So they dress them up like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Of course, since the gravity is way less than they're used to, they can jump up in the trees and they can hit a baseball a mile, and so it's not easy to make them blend in. Yep, it just keeps going off the rails even more.
If you want an example of how to go off the rails, watch Galactica 80.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Because then eventually these Super Scouts are put together as a baseball team to try to raise money for a charity. And first they're told to hide their powers, then they're told to use them. So yeah, it gets weirder and weirder. But then we finally get to a decent 2-part episode, Night of the Cylons. A Cylon ship crashes on Earth that was out on a scouting mission. What we find out is it contains a human form Cylon, which had never been seen to this point. An actual robot Cylon android with a regular Centurion with the little glowing eye in the middle. It just so happens, though, that it crashed at Halloween. So they blend in perfectly for the night.
They do.
And they are picked up along the way by... What the hell was his name? Son of a bitch. He was in so many TV shows back then, too. Damn it. William Daniels.
Yeah.
William Daniels picked him up along the way. Now, if you don't know who William Daniels is, he was in Boy Meets World, Knight Rider 2000 movie, voice of Kit. He is the voice of Kit, actually.
Yep.
So he picks this human form Cylon up and the Centurion and drive them to town because they want to get to a broadcast station, which he happens to work at. Of course, he's human, doesn't know why they want it, but they want to send a signal out to the Cylons so they can bring them to Earth. So, of course, it's up to Troy and Dylan to stop them. And which is kind of funny because then you find out that a Cylon can be brought down with a microwave oven.
Yes, make your toast.
All you have to do is turn on a microwave oven next to a Cylon, and they just go all wacky and fall over and spaz out.
Hot pockets.
So you can destroy a Cylon with a hot pocket.
Yep.
Are we off the rails even worse yet, folks? And I'm saying this was one of the better episodes.
Yeah, it was.
What was one of the best episodes?
Well, right here, the one I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
right up there at the top of the list.
Yeah, if you thought like STD was bad, go watch this. Yeah, you'll understand what bad TV is.
I only rank this above STD because at least it wasn't SJW.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true.
They weren't pushing all that. This was just good, semi-fun sci-fi.
It was not even B movie. It was like Z movie TV. Wow.
I would give it a D. I'd go D movie.
I'd at least give it a D because these two episodes had Wolfman Jack too, a legendary
Yeah.
DJ. But yeah, and then we go after that to Space Croppers, where now they need to make food supplies for the Galactica and the fleet that's hiding out in space somewhere. They say they're leading them away, going away from Earth, so they don't lead the Cylons there. But somehow they're never out of range where a Viper can get to it. So they can't be leading them away. They just got to be doing a circle pattern somewhere. So now they decided that they got to bring crops down to grow on Earth. So they find people that can't really grow anything because of the soil and stuff and use their special knowledge to make it rain on top of it on demand. Replenish the soil, which is basically sandy. Yeah.
Superpowers.
And that was episode 9. Then we get to the episode that most of us fight back and forth on, which was if it was good or not. Because it was the return of Starbuck. Dr. Z, who I failed to mention, happens to be a 10-year-old kid or so, but a complete genius and can figure out anything and create spaceships on his own and everything else, has a dream. And he decides to reveal the dream to Adama. And it was all about a Viper pilot crashed on a planet whose only friend at the time on the planet was a Cylon that he reactivated. And it's all about Starbuck. So you get to watch the episode pretty much all Starbuck and a Cylon. And then Starbuck mentions to the Cylon that he's lonely, and the Cylon says, well, I'm here, and he, well, not that type. And then the Cylon figures out that he's talking female companionship, and the Cylon wanders off for a few days and miraculously comes back with a woman that's pregnant.
Wow.
And then they take parts from all the ships and they play Superman and they put the baby inside the ship and launch it towards the fleet.
Cool.
No, not cool. Not cool. That was dumb.
And somehow,
It was Benedict again. Other than that, yuck.
Somehow, they kind of allude that that's Starbucks' kid. So I don't know how.
Yeah. Sure.
But how many kids is Starbuck being accused of having over the years?
That's a good question.
Well, he was a big horn dog.
Yes, he was very much a horn dog.
Now, he was the horn dog that everyone accused Captain Kirk of being.
Yep. Because he was the one that was always after the ladies.
Always.
Always.
Joy.
47 Yorktown is lucky. He didn't get Galactica 80 in his part of Canada. I think only the French part got Galactica 80. That's what drove Alexander mad. Uncle Remus says Starbuck was a deadbeat dad before Han Solo. No, Uncle Remus, he did not have Cylon sex.
No.
No, he did not like toasters. Fracking toasters.
That's right.
Oh yeah, there is your roundup of Galactica 80 in a nutshell.
And they said fracking a lot.
Yeah, frack.
Yes.
Frack you.
And toasters a lot.
No, the old ones didn't really say toasters that much.
I changed it. Headcanon.
He likes his head cannon.
I like the Battlestar cannons too. Those are pretty cool. There's a reason why the Cylons stayed at a distance from the Battlestar.
That's right. They didn't call them as much toasters as they did in the reboot. Call them toasters a few times, but the reboot's the one that really went overboard.
Yeah, they went overboard. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
the
original ones looked more like toasters, but yeah.
Yeah, the newer ones did. With their heads. Feldercarb. Can't forget Feldercarb.
Nope.
And we didn't have no President Rosalind to contend with.
Yes, that was better. I didn't like the politics part.
Sci-Fi points out we also had to put up with centons and microns. What time is it?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the time difference.
No.
They changed everything in it. Because that got confusing too when they were sitting there on Earth finally and tried to say centon. And the humans would just sit there and look at them and say, what are you talking about? You know, hours and minutes. Of course, it was nifty when they got to Earth. They could just use their little remote control device they had, a magical box to make the phone dial things and the money to come out.
Yes,
Everything
was magical in 80.
So see, there's another thing that Picard and Doctor Who all ripped off because it had a magical box that could make money come out. Happy day, happy dinosaur. No, it's not Stargate, Mr. Miles.
Nobody has a blaster from Battlestar.
I would have loved to have had those.
I think I had one when I was a kid. I think I had one when I was a kid that made the sound.
I had a friend who did.
And yes, sci-fi, the kids that would jump 10 feet in the air. Just jump up into a tree to hide away.
Good basketball players.
Because the government was after them because Troy and Dylan let their Viper be captured by the U.S. government, and they had to sneak into the base and somehow draw electricity from the power plants around the Viper just to charge it up so it could launch. Zachary, we're talking about the old.
Oh, yeah.
The
Definitely.
old. Now, I wouldn't say that it exactly broke canon because the Galactica missed the transmission from the moon landing, but that doesn't necessarily mean really anything because they were still traveling in the general direction, and that's how they found Earth. They just got lucky and found it without receiving the or seeing the transmission that it was received.
Okay, besides a Viper and a Battlestar, what other ships did you like from the series?
Oh, I personally love the Cylon Raiders from the original.
Definitely. Those were
The Cylon Raiders from the original series was way far beyond what they did with them reboot crap. Especially how they had the inside where it was 3 Centurions. You had one that was in charge, and you had 2 Centurions that did the piloting and the fighting.
And they're fast little buggers.
Well, yeah, Sci-Fi. If Apollo had just stayed there 30 seconds longer and seen the transmission, they would have zoomed in on Earth a lot faster. But,
Yeah.
you know, they were on a double date, and they all wanted to go get some.
Mm-hmm.
Typical
That's
Star
why they
Wars.
left.
Sorry, have to be honest. A little more interested in other stuff than possible signal.
Yeah, they wanted to get out of there and go get them some.
Can you blame them?
Well, no, because Cassiopeia, and Athena.
That just proves they didn't have a recording device right there, which is weird.
Yeah. You would have thought they would have.
With all their
Well,
technology, they didn't have a way to record that. It's like,
Well,
okay,
there was a way to record it. It's just he wasn't having it record the full time because all they were getting was static. So he wanted to sit there and keep monitoring. If something popped up, he'd hit the record button, which was kind of dumb.
Would you think you could, in that advanced technology, you think they could program it to search for variants and then record that?
Except the problem was back in that time, computers weren't that far along either. So the writers just didn't think of something like that.
Well,
Kapla, bird of prey. Jeff Franklin had the old Battlestar game. But yeah, that was about it. That's how it all went, folks. So I recommend definitely watch Battlestar Galactica 1978-79 series.
mm-hmm. Definitely watch it.
I will only recommend once to watch the other one just so you can see how far off the rails it went. It's you watch it nowadays, it's worth a good laugh.
It is.
And it's still better than STD. Even as bad as it went.
only by a little.
it was still better than STD.
I don't even think the writers took 80 seriously.
I don't think so, because they couldn't, even in them 10 episodes, they couldn't really focus in on anything that made coherent sense. I think they were trying to pack too much in there with the government chasing them around, with the time travel crap at the beginning.
Yeah, you had at least, several episodes felt more like 1.5 episodes.
And when you had Robert Reed playing a Dr. Donald Morrison with still his cheesy curly hair that he had from the Brady Bunch look,
Yep.
you just couldn't take it serious.
I think their idea was, hey, we have 10 episodes. What ludicrous thing can you come up with? Because that's what we're going to do. Who has the most outrageous idea? We're doing that 10 times, done. Because how else could they have done it other than what random whatever can we throw at this? Because it wasn't really a storyline.
Oh, no.
And what's crazy is you go look at IMDb, they rank like the first episode of Galactica 80 at a 6.3.
3.3.
Let me go to Super Scout episode. Let's see what they rank that one at. 5.1.
Really?
Part 2, 4.9. Then it goes to a 4.7. But Night of the Cylons, 6.0s. And the Return of Starbuck, they rank at an 8.3.
Wow.
Basically, the only ones that rank is the 2-part Night of the Cylons that are 6s. The Starbuck one at an 8.3. And then they were nice and gave part 1, the Galactica Discovering Earth, 6.3. The rest are all horrible.
Because they are horrible.
Oh, yes, they're horrible, but they're still funny.
And yes, Sci-Fi points out the futuristic humans that look like see-through angels, they were from the original run. They were the ones that were showing up and granting them the ability to look like other humans. And whenever you were in contact with them, you had the white. Now, I love the white colonial outfit.
Yes, I love those.
The white ones I loved. I was like thinking to myself, those should have been like a dress uniform look.
Yeah.
Zachary points out this is where the newer Battlestar beats the OG. It came out to a better and more reasonable conclusion, with Battlestar Galactica being our ancestors.
Although I didn't like the last episode. Did not.
No.
They pull an Enterprise.
Uh-oh.
They pull an Enterprise.
How do you explain the last episode? No words.
Well, for the reboot, the last episode, basically, the Galactica is broken, about ready to fall apart. They find Earth. And all the humans land on Earth. and start Earth, and they fly the Galactica into the sun.
Because the Earth is empty.
The Earth is completely empty and void, and they're going to start life from there. Which means at some point something happened, and they lost all their technology and knowledge, and they went back to the Stone Age. Just saying.
So it repeats the cycle.
Yep. So you could actually play the remake first, and then play the old one afterwards, and it's just like this big cycle of going back and forth.
Oh, the Galactica ended up being the people that landed on Earth.
Yep. In the remake.
That's cool.
In the remake, it was all of them from the 12 tribe colonies were the ones that founded Earth in the first place.
So it was like a freaking. It's crazy.
Of course, you had all the gender swaps and everything else for the remake.
Fracking. Remember?
Gender swaps.
Yeah, Starbuck became female.
became a girl. A rather, what do you call it? Frisky girl?
Yeah, and then you had Cylons that were all in human forms running around everywhere. No, Jeff, I didn't have the games. And they had no Boxy. They showed Boxy in the first episode of the remake, and you never saw him again. Poor little kid was left behind and died. Richard Hatch was one of the only originals that did show up, and he played a totally different character. That was kind of an a-hole at the beginning. Then you kind of cheered for him, and then he's in, then you didn't know, and then he was gone.
I wanted somebody to call him Apollo.
I wanted to see Dirk Benedict show up.
I thought he would too, but he
Yeah.
never did. It's like, thought he would.
But they didn't. I don't know. Can we think of anything else to talk about with Battlestar Galactica? I knew this would be a short episode this week since we didn't have 3 franchises running all over the place in movies.
Yeah, it's pretty much you're talking about the original series or the reboot. We'll be talking about it, and the
What is
reboot will
the-
be later. But talking about that maybe.
When is the new reboot coming out now?
Well, you have to go find Admiral Oliver Doom for that information, or Mr. CCDB. Mr. CCDB more. Because, yeah. And Jane Seymour was cool, but she wasn't really Boxy's mother. Jane Seymour played a television reporter that found Boxy and brought him with. And they just basically adopted Boxy. But then she gets killed off a few episodes in too, because
Well, I guess we should talk about Starbuck a little bit more. We haven't really. Starbuck in either episode, in either series, is the best pilot. That's why he's the cocky fighter pilot type guy or girl, and they have the swagger. And yeah, we didn't talk about that character, what that character was, and why people make a big deal of who Starbuck was, and it made a big deal because Dirk Benedict played that cocky, jock.
well, they kind of now this is where another aspect they were trying to pattern after Star Wars. You look at Starbuck, and he's more or less Han Solo.
Yeah.
He's the gambler. He's the rogue. He's the ladies' man.
Yep.
My apologies. I need to step away for a second.
Because NBC was really trying to capitalize off of Star Wars. And that's why they created this show. The only problem was
Go ahead. Sorry.
The only problem was they just couldn't keep up on a budget.
No. They actually did a good job with it. It had that, it had a certain grittiness that it wasn't, but it still felt hopeful at the same time.
It's like Uncle
They were
Remus.
looking for this 13th colony.
It's like Uncle Remus points out. Baltar was a very different character between the two series. He was more fleshed out in the remake. But in the remake, he regretted being used by the Cylons, whereas Baltar in the original openly worked with them and wanted to basically be one of the last humans and just dictate and run the last few humans that would be left alive. But I still go with the OG Baltar because of who he was played by, and I liked his more evil ways.
Oh, yes.
And yes, he was originally supposed to be killed off, but no, he wasn't because of quantum. And of course, here's Bird of Prey. Never watched the original. Bird of Prey has not seen a lot of shows he should have.
No kidding.
I think we need to revoke his nerd card.
Yes, we do.
Fracking birds.
And yes, there was a little person inside the Muppet costume. I say we take a vote right now. Everybody put one in the chat if we should revoke Bird of Prey's nerd card. Put a 1 in the chat if you want that to happen.
Put a 1 in for me. I'm not in chat.
Uh-oh, we've got ones popping up. Mr. Londell, we've got Captain Trek, we've got Uncle Remus, we got Thomas Potts, we got Pflugerville, we got Jeff Franklin, we got Not Ryan Johnson. Alyssa's throwing it in there too. Yep, Bird looks like Zachary Gibbons even. Yep. Looks like Bird of Prey has had his nerd card revoked.
Now, if Bird might consider, I don't know, doing a series of reviews and watching Battlestar,
Yeah,
maybe he can just nerd card back.
Yeah, because there's only 21 episodes. I ain't worried about Bird's threats. Uncle Paulie can be paid off. Besides, I got the Memphis Mafia.
Just think, it would be better. It's not like Crystal Skull. It would be a good show.
Yeah, this would be a good
This would be a pleasurable experience.
watch for Bird to watch instead of Crystal Skull, but you know. Revoke.
And maybe he can learn how to fly from Dirk Benedict.
Shoot, he could just pay attention to Rick Springfield. At least he did better staying away from 100 Cylon raiders. It's a good storyline. It's a good plot line. And for the time, the special effects were damn good for when they were done. For back then. Oh, Uncle Remus is pointing out that Bird's saving his viewing time for Discovery.
Well, that's happening. I'll watch Battlestar Galactica.
And see, now Bird's claiming cyberbullying, but we're letting him have the good series because we're going to turn around and make Anti-Trekker do Galactica 80.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome if we could save up enough money to send them and say, yes, you have to review this. You watch the episodes, you do a review, and you make it out the best you can.
Multi-part review.
I think we
per
would get
episode.
I think we would get to see him using that punch bag a whole lot. And Jeff asked me if I know why the effects were so good. Tell us, Jeff. No, Alyssa, we're not going to make him watch the 80s. We're going to save that for the Anti-Trekker. He's the one that we like to really drive insane. And see that? You can buy Galactica 80 for only $14.99. That's only $14 more than it's worth.
Well, if you really need a coffee coaster, you know, you can use it for that. Or a target practice.
Well, yes, the original pilot episode for Battlestar was more of a theatrical release film. They did the same thing for Buck Rogers. The original pilot for Buck Rogers was also a theatrical release. And then they turned that into a series as well. Which sometime we may talk about Buck Rogers.
Ooh, I will have to be there for that. That's my favorite show growing up.
I wish that would be one that they would remake. As long as they leave the SJW crap out.
They can't remake it. It's disputed who owns it. They've been fighting in for court for years and who owns the rights, and so it'll never be done.
Well, they need to settle that shit and get it up there because Glenn Larson was a genius for his time. He put out hit after hit after hit.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just watched like 4 episodes of the original BSG. It wasn't bad.
No, it's not. It's a good show for when it was made.
Right, it's dated, but you have to take that into account.
Well, yeah. But Buck Rogers was one of my favorites, too.
And old farts like me just love it. And V-Star is yelling Duck Dodgers in the 21st and a half century. V. It's 21st and a half century.
Diggy, 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 diggy.
But with Buck Rogers, he definitely had some eye candy going on there.
Oh, yeah.
The main 2 females.
Yep.
Giggity, giggity, giggity. As I grew older, I appreciated Aaron Gray more. But as a youngster that was just starting to get puberized, it was all Pamela Hemsley. Princess Ardarla. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the combo between the two was like, oh my goodness. How can't you not like this show?
Yeah, well, at that point, it never dawned on me that I could have both at once.
Well, you had a poor imagination.
I did. It wasn't until a couple of years later when it really blossomed out there, but...
Well, I had some cool dreams back then.
It was the outfits, Princess Ardarla one. It was the outfits.
Know. Those outfits were something else. Like, wow.
You know, they didn't leave much to the imagination. I'm still not convinced on what the next episode of this show will be. But I am moving the day.
Yeah, you're going to Thursdays, aren't you?
I'm going to take this to Thursdays. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week or wait until next Thursday. But Mondays is just getting to be too much of a hassle with a 5-hour radio show, and then get straight off there and straight on here because I get hungry. I gotta have food.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking right now, while Anti-Trekker is not doing shows on Thursdays, it would be the perfect time. And
Yeah.
I
V
could
would
hold
be
it-
a good one.
and I could hold it a little bit later. And Uncle Remus and you, yeah, I think maybe
You're gonna have to put up a poll.
well, we'll start doing a poll like Bird, but I think I will go along with what's being said right now and do V for the next episode.
The original one, right?
The original V. We're not talking the new stuff. We'll talk V, the final battle. And just like this week, we will add the abomination of V, the television series.
I never watched that. I never will.
That's where it went off the rails again.
Yep.
As soon as they went to a TV series, it went off the rails. And then the new series that they rebooted, it just didn't feel like V.
No, it didn't feel sinister enough.
I didn't feel much for it. Except for when Diana showed up. It's the only time I really felt anything for it.
I know what you mean by hungry because I'm starving right now, but I'm still here.
I know. So am I. And
Oh,
we will
your
talk.
food.
We will talk the horrible things in V, the original, when they decided to have a girl that could just grab a hold of things and magical powers would stop a ship from blowing up. We will talk about that.
Hmm.
And her alien twin brother that actually looked like a lizard. Which actually looks more like LDG when he puts his pickle up.
Yeah, you can't complain about that cast.
That's right. The cast was top notch there.
You know,
What happened?
Yep, there's the V baby right there. That's V
Really?
baby right there. Yeah, I
Wow.
basically kind of look like that.
Wow.
They have to feed it a mouse.
Yeah,
Really? Like this? Are you serious?
better than mouse.
actually, not pretty close.
And that's where
I mean, this is pretty damn ugly.
and you know, V was just awesome with Robert Englund in it.
Yeah.
Come on, Willie.
Curtis also never saw V. Wow. I was hooked and that was live on TV. It was like the greatest thing I ever saw.
All right, Bird. V is just all you have to watch is 2 miniseries. That's it. 10 hours. That's it.
So are you going to do that on Thursday or next week Thursday?
I will know by tomorrow whether or not I'm doing it this Thursday or next.
Because I gotta binge it if you're going to do it this Thursday.
Yeah, I probably rewatch it again if I'm going to do it this Thursday too.
That's good homework,
Which-
Bill. I haven't
Which
seen that.
Luckily, it's just 2 miniseries, so you can watch them back to back and be done. And Mr. Londell has just kicked Bird of Prey out of the nerd community because he
I
has not
see
watched
that.
the original BSG or V.
Is that a qualifier?
Does that mean LDG also?
Is that
not
real?
a
Is that
nerd?
really a qualifier?
Well, it should be
No. Geek. I'm a nerd. Never said I was a geek.
because Thomas Potts is bringing up also that he hasn't watched Lost in Space.
Okay, I've seen Lost in Space.
The old one?
Yes,
Okay.
not all of it, but
I watched some of the old one.
I watched as much Lost in Space as I watched Gilligan's Island. I
I
watched
think
enough
I've
to know
watched-
about it, but not enough to piece it together.
See,
I watched
see-
most of Gilligan's Island.
one of these weeks we may have to talk about Gilligan's Island, just so we can.
That would be
have
cool.
just so we have the big debate, Marianne or Ginger.
Maybe
You'll have to do Thornbirds for Bird of
And
Prey.
how many times they? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn it, you have to go with Marianne all the way because she can make you a damn pie.
Yep. Pie.
So you can
Pie
you can eat,
rules.
you can eat her pie. Yes,
Yeah, we went there.
I said
Cherry
Anyway,
pie, baby. Some
this is
cherry
enough.
pie.
this is enough for this one tonight. I am starving. I'm going to get off here, go eat, and we pretty much talked the whole gambit about the original Battlestar Galactica anyway.
She's my cherry pie.
So thank you to everyone who came to the show tonight. What the fuck? We'll do V on Thursday. We'll do V this Thursday, folks.
Do your
Okay.
homework.
Episode
watch it.
5 of Let's Talk will be this Thursday night. I'm not sure on the exact time yet. That's what I will put up, but we will do it this Thursday. V, the miniseries, the final battle, and those few episodes of the television series. Because I think there was only like 10 or 12 of those too.
Yeah, I think that got cut mid-season, didn't it?
Yep. So thank you all for coming tonight. Bruce just came in. Hello, Bruce. And we're going to get the hell out of here so I can go cook. Anybody got to plug anything? Anybody got anything to plug?
I'm me. Always. You can find me everywhere. Same name.
Epic Beard. Fluger, you got anything?
I got nothing. Oh,
Okay. Well, I know LGG has his plug.
Hello, LDG Pixels here. Need your computer fixed? See LDG Pixels. Thank you. All you. Aha.
Hey, I went the whole stream and didn't use anything until right then.
Perfect timing.
And it was better than
Appreciate that.
It was better than what I could have done.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I'm
Because-
sure.
Could be the other sound effect, the one that he likes to use a lot.
the wacky one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wacky,
there
wacky.
it is.
No.
All right, we're out of here, guys.
Bye.
We're out of here, guys.